You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Walter on iWalter on this Thursday, the October the 15th. You know what? It's hard to believe that. I was actually going to try to do my show earlier, but I was actually kind of busy cleaning stuff up, taking advantage of my time off from work, especially when I'm getting paid. I'm not happy about it, trust me, but I am doing it. So I am back once again. I may have to make a couple corrections. I don't know how I'm going to do so because I made so many mistakes yesterday. And I am using the mic. I am using GarageBand again, but I'm using this mic. It's actually, I think it's called an XLR, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong with the terminology. It's a three-pronged mic, and it feeds through an amp, which is USB'd into my Mac computer, which I don't have a problem with. That actually should work better. The thing is, it is a cheaper mic, though. And I figured, the amp should compensate for that. And plus, I'm actually using a mic that's actually connected to, one you would use professionally. And the amp is actually a professional amp. It didn't cost too much. I got a good deal on it. But I do seem to have some issues still where it sounds like, I almost want to say I don't know if that's the correct term, but it's like an echoey reverb, like the stuff you hear on these radio announcers. There's some disc jockey or on one of these radio stations in Philadelphia that had the same sound, and honestly, I just never liked it. It is so annoying. And when I used my Yeti mic, I did not get that echoey effect like I do now with this cheaper mic. But the Yeti mic was a $150 mic. This mic is a $50 mic. So obviously you can see why I want the cheaper mic, because if it goes bad, I can just physically just throw the mic away and I won't have a problem because I can detach the cable from the mic and just replace the mic very simply. But you get what you pay for, I guess. That's the other issue. Now, this was the one that someone had recommended on how to do a blogcast. I followed everything that this person recommended, and it sounded pretty good. But then when I heard yesterday's show, I wasn't too impressed myself. I really, honestly can't afford to buy $150 mics and just throw them in the trash can like I just had done this past week. So I'm going to try to stick with the lower mics. I actually am using a windscreen on top of the, so to speak, I like to consider it like a sock, but it's a piece of foam that fits over your mic head. And that also is supposed to help eliminate any static noise. But I'm going to use both that and also the windscreen because I think that might, I hope, kind of alleviate some of this echoey noise I get, at least a little bit more, I'm hoping. Anyway, the thing I have to apologize about, because the way I set up my radio show last night, or my blogcast, I actually had to do everything in separate stages, and that's kind of difficult. So that being said, I was mentioning, okay, I'm going to play this sound bite or a sound clip from the Rush Limbaugh show yesterday. And before I left the radio show, or for that segment. It was only a minute and a half. I was going to mention a little bit more of what I wanted to mention, which was this whole shenanigans with war on terrorism, with women, the war on women in the U.S. Well, I played this. Well, I had to put the soundbite in, and I had to record my show before that soundbite. So I made that like a phase one, and then I stopped it for a second, and then I just tried to pick up. So when I was done the show, and I put all the, like, so to speak, like these puzzle pieces together, because I had different pieces of the show last night. Like the audio intro was already recorded and laid aside. Then the first part of my show segment was recorded, left aside, and I went back, and then I picked up and I made a second part. But it got a little bit confusing for me. So just to clarify, what I did was things I said I was going to mention before and after that soundbite from Rush, I did not do. And I didn't do it intentionally. It just got really confusing for me. Another part that got a little bit confusing, I guess, when I was listening back to the show, that's why I also listen to my shows to find where I'm making mistakes. I mentioned I was going to talk about stuff I heard on Rush Limbaugh. I was going to read his bullet points, which I never did, so I apologize about that. Now, the thing is, most of his highlights of his show, which were really good the other day, I believe that was Tuesday. I got the days confused, too, because I thought that yesterday was Tuesday. I forgot it was Wednesday. Being off from work actually makes it difficult to keep track of time, believe it or not. So I got that confused, too. But the thing I was going to mention was Tuesday's show that I listened to live of Rush, and he had a lot of good points that he had made. I was just going to basically kind of go through those, but I never did. So I apologize. And at this point, it's probably not even worth going back and trying to figure out. So I'm going to start as I am now, like with a fresh start, and still experiment with this new mic. By the way, if anybody's interested, unfortunately, it will be over once I'm done this show because I have to put everything puzzled together once again. But in the background, I have on the movie Clockwork Orange, and it's actually playing on, I think, the TMC, I think it is, Turner Broadcasting. It's like the classic movies. Lately, they've been showing a lot of really good films. It just so happens at this time when I'm recording the show at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday morning or a Wednesday night, so happens to be the movie Clockwork Orange. Now, that's a classic film. I think it's the main actor, was it McDowell? I got to look this one up. I actually wasn't intending to, but now I will. And it's not actually one of my favorite movies. I'll tell you that right now. It's just that the fact that it was on, I just figured I'll keep it on the background. Yeah, it's a Stanley Kubrick film. Yeah, it was Malcolm McDowell. He was the main character. Yeah, that film was, it's still discussed. I guess it's considered a classic film. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes gave it 90%. So, yeah, it's a classic film. I'm trying to think what else he played in. Malcolm McDowell, I think he played in, didn't he, the Friday the 3rd, sorry about that, did Jason, I'm keep on going the wrong direction. Halloween, I thought he played the new Doctor in the Rob Zombie one. I could be wrong. Yeah, he did, actually. Yeah, Time After Time, Clockwork Orange, Heroes, actually. I didn't know that. Silent Hill, Revelation. That's actually pretty good. That I started watching. I didn't watch the whole thing. Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. Not exactly what I was trying to look for, what else he played in that I thought he did. Excuse me. Sorry about that, folks. I'm trying to get myself on a normal pattern of time, and it hasn't worked, I guess. I'm always tired. For some reason, I thought he may have played in, which obviously I'm probably wrong on that point, and I probably shouldn't even mention it. He's best known, actually, for Clockwork Orange. That probably was what intrigued Rob Zombie, because, I mean, the man, Rob Zombie's like really for these classic movies of all types. I mean, 'cause when I had spoken to him before, I could kind of tell the brief time I got to speak to him. Yeah, I guess I was wrong. I was going to say, I forget now. I thought I got him confused with a Rocky Horror Picture for some reason. So I was, but yeah, Malcolm McDowell looks so different. He doesn't even look recognizable when he was younger to what he looks like, what people think of him as now. And by the way, I was over, for people who are interested, I was over I'm thinking of Tim Curry, I think was the main person. Over Best Buy today, because I had something I wanted to exchange or return, and it cost me like $2 because I had a gift card and I used whatever was up on there. Got some movie I kind of wouldn't have bought otherwise. Well, I probably would have. But they had a lot of films, classic films, even, that were really marked down at Best Buy. They had some, you know, if you're looking for like different types of movies, TV shows, you know, you name it, Best Buy had like the best deal. And I think they actually were, the prices were, you know, because they got to keep up with online price, especially like Amazon, because Amazon's been crushing a lot of places. But they actually, I'd have to say, I think Best Buy was actually undercutting both like Walmart, because Walmart does the same thing. They try to undercut everybody. And also Amazon. I was really shocked at some of the prices on some of the stuff. You couldn't get any cheaper than you can at Best Buy. And they have a really good selection. Like around us, we have like our best stores, believe it or not. It's probably Plymouth Meeting for one. King of Prussia is okay. And I'm probably Montgomeryville. I haven't been there in a long time. Anyway, I'm just going to read. I always say this every time, and I don't change the way I say it, but I'm going to just repeat myself. But I was going to decide this, maybe I'll just read through the stories I have. I did try to line them up. Actually, you know what? I was actually intrigued. I want to go back to this now. I got to figure out where I put it. But it was on Friday the 13th, because now it's like almost every day I got 2 articles on that Friday the 13th video game. And since they mentioned it, they got $700,000 goal on making the game. And a lot of, I think, what's causing this high cost for producing a game, and they're trying to defend him now, but I'm a little bit kind of disappointed, is with Sean Cunningham, who actually owns basically the rights to the franchise. Even though he may not make the movies anymore, you know, it's a thing with copyright infringement, which, hey, the man's being smart, but he's obviously holds, you know, the rights to anything that's related to the characters in the movie or the game. And there was an article about this, but they said, oh, it's not his fault. And that was marked yesterday. They're trying to state that he's not the one to blame, but there was some other video game company was trying to make a game that was, had characters that were basically right out of Friday the 13th. I guess, they were trying to fundraise on the same one that I had gave some money to for this game, a different game, because this one's officially being backed by Sean Cunningham. This one called Friday the 13th, the game. This other one, it was in his article somewhere. It said something about they raised about $90,000, and Sean Cunningham made sure to pull the plug because they did not, they did not get his permission or for making this other game. So the game, I think, was at one point like basically scrapped. Okay, yeah, there's two articles I actually have on. It says Friday the 13th, the game has competition in a game that was called Last Year. And it said that, it was Kickstarter, which both games are on there. But they had raised nearly $90,000 until Sean Cunningham made sure to pull the plug on that. And it was taken down. So the one that is raising the game that Sean Cunningham is supporting, and they got a lot of people, like really important people, I think, in the horror business, backing up the game. It's called Friday the 13th. Now that one is also, both of these games were, they're trying to fundraise on Kickstarter. But yeah, it's got like, if you look into it, because I think I mentioned some of the names that I'm drawing blanks on, but I mentioned them yesterday. Anyway, I was looking at Kickstarter, and the price went up on how much they had fundraised. The game that got pulled, the plug, was called Last Year. They actually they got, it says, I'm looking at it right now, 114, almost $115,000, but their pledge goal was $50,000, but they got pulled by Sean Cunningham. So already I've pledged, for things that I enjoy listening to or watching. The one thing was actually Courtney Act. That was the one. It was the drag queen. He was trying to make this album called, or I should say she, because he really does look like a woman. What is it? Kaleidoscope. And she actually got the money that she could make the album. And, you get the perks. You don't have to give that much. I didn't have to give that much to actually own a copy of the CD from Courtney Act. Now this one, it goes up. Like if you just stay on the page, you'll see like people are donating, not really quickly, but for the Friday the 13th, the game, I think it was only at like 200,000 yesterday or 200 and something. Yeah, it just went up again. Somebody else had also just donated, and they got 29 days left to make their pledge goal of $700,000 of they're asking. And I'm questioning, I think a lot of this, honestly, is coming from, Sean Cunningham and these other names that are, backing it up. I mean, I'm sure they're asking for their, it's very expensive with this whole copyright thing. So that's why I figure, I'll give money because I'll get a copy of the game once it's done next year. But I think it's next year. I don't know if it was this year. But also, it's going to cost probably even more because of all the money they have to endorse this game because of the copyright infringement law. So it went from like 200 and some thousand yesterday to 323, almost 324,000. And as I've been speaking, it did go up. Somebody else did make a pledge. So if they make the 700,000, they will take the donations sometime next month. If they don't make their goal, then they're not going to take the donations at all. And that could be probably the end of the game. Of it being developed, unless I would hope, maybe Sean Cunningham and these other people, I don't know if you're on this page, his face is there, that are basically behind more of the entertainment aspect of the game. They're not the ones actually developing the game. The game developers aren't going to ask this kind of money, but they got to give this money to, the people that hold the rights to the movie, and Sean Cunningham is the number one person. Yeah, here we go. It's Sean Cunningham, Tom Savini, Kane Hodder, Harry Manfredi. Now, most people, I didn't know, Harry Manfredi is the original composer for the music for the original Friday the 13th, and actually all of the other ones. So he's working on this too. So, and then the rest are the actual people behind the meat of making this game. These are all the developers. But I don't think they would be the one asking for this ridiculous amount of money. I think it's got to be the guys on top. And no offense, I love these guys. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just crazy that they make it so difficult. I mean, I understand, you put a lot of time into this. But I just think that's just like way asking too much almost. I'm sure that's where the money's going, is into the copyright laws that they have to pay in order to just develop this game, because these guys are the ones that are actually making the maps, making Jason Voorhees. Yeah, and it's funny. You can make donations for different gifts, I guess, so to speak. And you'd have to give a lot of money in order to get anything halfway decent, which I can't afford, because I'm looking at it like one's for $2,500 donation, and it says you get to hang out with the crew, the team members, and probably see these guys, which I've saw Sean Cunningham and Kane Hodder before. But that's $2,500, and all you get to do is you get to hang out with like these people, and but it says it doesn't cover the travel accommodations, so you got to pay that, and it's that's a little bit hefty. I mean, unless you have that kind of money you can just throw out, that's ridiculous. And it said if you want to make a $6,000 donation, you can actually have a horror icon dinner, it said. And it says again, travel accommodations are not included. So that you got to be like a millionaire at least to give a pledge like that. And then for $7,500, you get to attend the launch party. And then once again, the travel accommodations are not included. So that just seems really weird. And if you give a $10,000, and there's actually two backers for this, the $10,000 one, be in the game, I guess, be a character in the game. Yeah, 0 supporters for the launch party, and horror icon dinner, 0 supporters. But there was actually, I wonder if these were the guys, maybe they just, maybe people working on the game said, well, I don't know who else would do that, but there is 2 left out of 4 for people who want to give a $10,000 donation. That is a lot of money. I honestly couldn't even imagine. I pay off like a good chunk of my bills for that. Sorry, I just knocked into my screen, so I hope I didn't ruin anything. But yeah, that's quite hefty. I need to adjust my mic, so I hope I'm not ruining my voice. I will listen to a part of my show. I don't listen to the whole thing. I try to listen to enough to figure out what's going on, though. And hopefully I'm not flatlining. So I'll figure it out later on. I'll take my chances right now. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that I definitely am interested in this game. I'm just a little disinterested on the way they're going about charging people so much. So I'm not going to read any more because I did put up like 3 different sources for the Friday the 13th. So I'm going to get rid of these right now. Hey, this was kind of interesting. This was on comicbook.com, and I don't know if it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer ticket pre-sales reportedly coming October 19th. So yeah, for these folks, I mean, I kind of would be interested, but I don't know. But you can actually get your early, you can buy early tickets to the new Star Wars movie. Pre-order your tickets as soon as Monday, October 19th. Looks like it's going to be in 3D, this one, too. That's the big thing they push. I may actually see that. I might be interested in seeing it in 3D. It says standard screen, 3D screen, and open night. You might get these limited edition 3D glasses, too. So apparently, I'm wondering what they look like if they have a picture. Oh, yeah, they do. So there's going to be a limited edition 3D glasses exclusively for the new Star Wars movie. And it basically is like a 3D glass. It says, basically the design of Stormtrooper, BB-8, and 2 new characters, which I'm not even familiar with. But it looks pretty cool, I guess. They're definitely a collector's item, because anything from Star Wars obviously does. But it says at the very end of this, it's a small article, but it says, so who's buying the tickets to the 7 p.m. showing? How about 7 p.m. and midnight? Or 7 p.m. midnight Friday matinee, etc., etc. See, that's the difficult thing, because if it's during the week, and it's before the Christmas holiday, it wouldn't matter. I can't buy the ticket ahead of time. And who's going to really want to go when it's so crowded? I mean, unless you want to see it a couple times. I kind of it'd be nice. I probably will try to see it somewhere opening weekend, but it's going to be really hard. So, something on my favorite thing, Doctor Who. They did an early interview on this upcoming Saturday's episode of Doctor Who titled The Girl Who Died. It's called The Girl Who Died. And I couldn't remember who this girl was. I got another Friday the 13th one, so I apologize. Looking for it now, because I actually pulled it up. Now I can't find it. But this girl played the one character. I don't know what I did with it, though. She played in an HBO show. She's a British girl. She's a young girl, but she's British. And I'm trying to look for her name because I'm not really familiar with it. So, maybe this is it. Is it Maisie Williams? Yeah. Maisie Williams was actually, I'm trying to look. It's right on the tip of my tongue, folks. If you're familiar with it, you're going to say, this is what it is. Yeah, she's best known in HBO series Game of Thrones. So this girl, Maisie Williams, will be on this upcoming week's Doctor Who, and that's the big thing this week. They wanted to get a jump start on doing the interviews, because obviously these episodes of Doctor Who have actually already been shot. Now it's just a matter of time, matter of getting them, aired in correct order. So, there's a major spoiler and multiple different web links, all British, because this one I'm looking at now says Doctor Who TV, but there's a couple other British sources that were saying, giving you, the bottom line of what's happening this week. And apparently this season, a lot of the episodes are two-parters, so... which, the first 2 episodes were actually two-parters. Now, the thing is that I'm interested also, because I know, will not, Peter Cotoli kind of mentioned he may not be around much longer. It's just taken too much out of his personal life. He is a big Doctor Who fan, but he is the 12th Doctor, or what would be considered the 12th regeneration. Technically, that's when a Time Lord dies. What are they going to do, considering he is on his last regeneration? I think they kind of hinted around that he'll just continue to regenerate indefinitely until the show just loses its popularity again. And then they'll just put it back to rest for a while, and probably it'll get picked up some other time again if that would happen. But, when the show originated, a Time Lord, once he reaches his 12th regeneration, that is death to a Time Lord even. So that's kind of why I'm curious, because he is the 12th, 12th regenerated Doctor. So it always kind of intrigues me to figure out how they're going to, finally put this thing either to rest, or is it going to be the end of the show again? I don't know. I was looking for something else that caught my attention. Oh, John Hurt. Now, this was because I'm going to stick with this British one. John Hurt is a really, he's a really good actor. He's played in a lot. He was also, if I remember correctly, in 1984, the movie based upon George Orwell's book that came out in 1984. He played the main character. Anyway, he's been on Doctor Who, and, he's known for a lot of his film work. I didn't know this, but it says that he had pancreatic cancer, but he's cleared of it now. So it was titled, "I'm Clear of My Pancreatic Cancer," says Sir John Hurt. Actor tells the joy of being given the all clear on how it all looks great for the future. So this man is happy that he's clear. He's 75 now, too. And he just continues to work. That's what he does best, is acting. So, that's really good. It says the 75-year-old had refused to let the disease stop him working after he was diagnosed. His diagnosis earlier this year. But now it said yesterday, which was actually 2 days ago now, he revealed he had been given the all clear by doctors. So that's really great. I thought he was in this recent film. I don't know if this is what it is. It says Sir John Hurt poses after being knifed at the Windsor Castle. Because I thought he was in some recent film. I don't remember that I wanted to see him in. Anyway, hey, that's great for John Hurt. Speaking about that, I'm going to stick on this line with the British articles in Doctor Who. Now, I forget what I did with it, but the actress who played Jo Grant just had her birthday about a day or two ago, and I didn't even know that. And I thought I put it in the mix, but it looks like it did not make it. So I can quickly kind of look, because I think I put it at least on my Facebook page. See, that's why I do that a lot. I put this stuff on my Facebook. Happy birthday, Katie Mannon, a.k.a. Jo Grant. So that was like, it says 20 hours ago, so that was like almost 2 days ago. So that was pretty good. A friend's brother, he put some interesting stuff on his page, and I kind of, had taken it from him. Oh, there's this girl I'm jumping around a little bit right now. I snagged this from somebody's Facebook page. There's this girl. She's really good with makeup, being a makeup artist, and she painted her body and her face to look like Harley Quinn, and she even sounded like Harley Quinn. I know it's not a real character, but at first I thought she had a costume on, and she basically explains, no, it's all paint. But the paint looks so good, it really looks like she was wearing a bodysuit. Everything was painted on this girl. But it's on my page, and it's called Lost in Life. Amazing Harley Quinn. And she also does the new Joker, paints herself up to look like the new Joker. I wanted to find her web link to see that, because she looks really good. So I did go a little bit of astray. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, there was something I got, and it was from another country on Facebook, from a friend I have. And it was kind of intriguing, I guess, but the translation, because I think it may even be German or Spanish. I'm not really sure. But there's a translating setting on my thing for the friends that are not from America or England or Australia. And it was titled, or it says, "There I sit next to a black a few seconds after he got what he deserved." Basically, this woman, the scenario is some type of commercial where this woman refused to sit next to this black man, and she was complaining to the stewardess, and the guy just gets up and he had enough, and he just walks away. He just, I guess, gets a different seat, not to have to deal with her ignorance. And I thought it was pretty intriguing, but again, I'm not sure because it can only translate what was in the title of the video. It can't go much further than that. Yeah, that was another thing tonight that really intrigued me. I didn't put this in my mix, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm scratching my nose. I haven't seen it in a while. I was like while I was cleaning my room, I wanted something on the background to watch on my TV set. And I stumbled upon Nick for Teens, and they had all these Victoria Justice and iCarly shows on. And I used to love those shows just a few years back. I even tried to write Victoria Justice. I said, because I met her, not that she knows who I am. She was in Philadelphia, and I just sent her a picture I got with her, and I just said on her Twitter page, which she obviously never responded, and I just said, hey, and I'm being sincere. I'm not trying to give some campy pickup line, but I sincerely really missed the show. So I just told her that. And obviously I never got a response back. I don't expect to. But it was a real treat tonight to watch those old Victorious television shows. And, the iCarly, because those shows were really funny. I mean, they are actually, even now, they're dated. It's hard to believe that, but those shows are actually really dated because they were shot in 4:3 and they weren't in high definition. So now they look like crap. But they were very entertaining, especially iCarly, because that was on for years, but that was a while back. Hey, on it, this is like a little bit of a sci-fi thing too, I guess. Not really. But it was the other day also. It was on MeTV. This woman, I guess it should be an influence to everyone. A 103-year-old woman dressed up as Wonder Woman for her birthday. Somebody gave her a Wonder Woman shirt, and she wore it. This woman drives herself to a job at 103. She's self-sufficient. She works at like some type of cafeteria thing, and she is still getting herself around. And she says, the thing that keeps me moving and alive and keeps her, she's 103, is the fact that she just keeps herself busy and she still works. And she's got like the little outfit, like the T-shirt and the thing on her head and her wristbands, but she's 103 and she's still working. That's what keeps her moving. So I was really touching when I saw this story. That was actually yesterday. So I'd recommend checking it out. It says a 103-year-old woman dresses up as Wonder Woman for her birthday. The California woman was a true superhero as she volunteered at a senior center. So this woman is 103 and she's still working in this senior center as of today. It says night gallery's on right now. Wow. I didn't really go into this too much. I didn't actually mark it up. And this has still really upset me because this past weekend there was this comic convention in New York, and it seems like Sarah Michelle Gellar showed up. I mentioned this before, but I really wanted to see her. She is like my female hero. Sure, never know it, but she really is. Anyway, a friend, thank you to Todd. I'm not going to read this article. It was on mandatory.com. Chinese man attempts to remove hemorrhoids with a sword and gets it stuck inside his butt instead. So, it's probably not necessary to read it. I'm just pointing it out, though. There's a lot of articles. I'm almost actually hoping I can see these, but there's a lot of articles on Back to the Future. And speaking of which, I did post that up somewhere. it was like hard for me to watch, but there's this commercial now for Toyota, and it's with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd reminiscent about Back to the Future and how it stands up today for a Toyota commercial. And I'm trying to watch it, and like, because I used to, like, I put him on a pedestal too. This was yesterday. They showed a commercial, and it's on EW.com. You can find it elsewhere. But yeah, it's them talking about Back to the Future, and I feel so bad because I hate to say it, Christopher Lloyd is much older than he was when he did this film back in 1989. And Michael J. Fox aged a lot too, but most of his aging is because of his disease. So it's really sad to see how Michael J. Fox looks as old as Christopher Lloyd, and actually Christopher Lloyd looks much better. So I'm like trying to watch this commercial that they have on this page talking about, it's titled Movies on Entertainment Weekly. Great Scott, watch Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd's Back to the Future reunion. And I had a hard time watching it because I feel so bad for Michael J. Fox. Because he's aged so much from that disease he has. I mean, I'd love to meet the man, but still, I mean, I met Christopher Lloyd, but Michael J. Fox, I had him like as a superstar when growing up, and now looking at him, I feel so bad. Yeah, I'm going to see. I'm going to read this real quick because this was probably something I would have read yesterday, and it was on Rush's webpage because I did put it in my mix today, at least one thing. And I heard him talking about this when I listened to the show the other day, Rush's show. Jeb Bush he basically planted a girl in Donald Trump's, basically answering people's questions, when he was doing a speech. And this girl was trying to trip up Trump, and she didn't do a very good job. But the sad thing is, it's not very good that when you have your same party, being a Republican, he's running as a Republican candidate, and you got somebody like Jeb Bush trying to make Donald Trump look bad, because that's one Republican candidate going against another one. So yeah, this was an article that it's a transcript from the show, but that's the last thing you really want to do. I mean, that's foul play. You're working against your own team, and I think Rush was kind of pointing that out. So yeah, it was kind of like it was kind of what I would consider a dirty pool. I don't like it. So I just wanted to fit that in here really quick. Hey, here is one that was interesting, something different on peoplemagazine.com. I didn't notice, but it says TV Watch, Kelly Kuko defends friendship with ex Johnny Galecki after Ryan Sweatin split. No home wreckers or secret fling going on here. So apparently I didn't know anything about this because I still watch The Big Bang Theory. I bought this latest season. It's on now so I can watch it. And they're just really good friends because they've been working together for so many years now. Like, what is it? 7 years, whatever. But, I don't remember the actor's name. The guy who plays Leonard on The Big Bang Theory. And I don't know if people realize this. He also played years ago. He was much younger. He looked the same in the face, but he looked very different at the same time because he was so much younger. Is the actor who plays Leonard on The Big Bang Theory was also in that I Know What You Did Last Summer. He's like the first one to get killed in the movie. And he played a really good character. I mean, because I watched it because I, wanted to see it because what do you call it? Jennifer. Oh, I want to get the name right. I'm sorry about the pause. I'm just really bad because I haven't watched it in a while. Yeah, because what do you call it was in there too? Sarah Michelle Gellar. I keep on going back and forth. It's Sarah Michelle Gellar. She was in there as well. But the movie, actually, the original one was actually very entertaining. But where I was going with it, he was in that film. But Jennifer Love Hewitt. Yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt. Sarah Michelle Gellar. Freddie Prinze Jr. Johnny Galecki. Is that his name, Johnny Galecki? He's the one who plays Leonard in The Big Bang Theory. But yeah, he was in the movie. He did a really good job. And I know you did last summer. How old is that movie, though? It's 1997, so yeah, he's a lot younger. You can tell it's him. It was like you will do a double take when you see it, though. That's the thing. So now they're trying to say there was some like off-screen romance going on after the breakup with Kelly Kuko and the guy she was engaged to, and they put that whole thing to rest that it's not true. So. Yeah, so it's basically titled that, Kelly Kuko's defending, the friendship that they have in real life, those two. I mean, if you're working, these hours they probably do on that show, yeah, that's going to happen. You're going to develop friendships, but then, the fact that they're playing husband and wife, that must have caused some type of thing that, cause speculation with people, like, thinking that there was something really romantically going on off screen, and they said that is not happening. So, I'm just going to talk about put it to rest. I'm going to put that to rest. Hey, this is interesting, too. I'm kind of like, it's just the stretch is so long. Comicbookmovie.com, they said King Kong Godzilla trilogy release dates announced. So they were talking about this, and it's going to start, like, it says the next movie coming out, they're going to make a trilogy, and the next one's going to be called Kong Skull Island, and it says it's not coming out till March 10th, 2017, so they got a definite date. And then they said the follow-up for Godzilla, the American version, Godzilla 2, will follow on June 8th, 2018. So you're talking like kind of a long time away. And it says the two icons will finally meet in Godzilla vs. Kong set for 2020. It's only 2015 right now. So you're talking, I guess it's not that long, but it seems like a long time to me. That's 5 years from now. So who knows what's going to happen in 5 years? But to me, that just seems like a long wait. Why do they tell you this stuff this far in advance? How do they know? I mean, films take a while, but do they take that long? I don't know. I mean, it's something to look forward to, but do you really want to know it that far in advance? This was really cool. I think I saw this late last night. I don't know if I talked about this. This guy made a Thor hammer that nobody can pick up because what he did was he got parts like I thought it said pieces even from a microwave. Anyway, it's on comicbook.com once again, and it's called Thor Fan Creates Real Life, basically a hammer using electromagnets and fingerprint scanning. I mean, the guy is very clever to do it. And he made sure he puts it over like metal at any given point in time, even a metal grate. And again, once it's activated, this hammer, which has got like he put together himself, the only one who can lift it is him because he put a finger print encode on there that is his fingerprint. So what's that do? Well, he masked his device with the Thor hammer, and on the bottom of this device there was magnets, and when the magnets are sticking to a piece of heavy metal, there's no way anyone can lift it. So when he puts his finger, on there, his fingerprint, it tells the magnets to turn, it tells it to turn off the magnets, and then he can easily lift the hammer. So he was a good sport about it, because there was one guy at the very end of this video that basically outsmarts him, and he basically slides the hammer towards, off the metal, like he slides it towards the side, and then the guy just lifts the hammer with no problem. It was like, oh, you got me, basically. But he was a good sport, because he didn't have to show that in this segment, but it is a very clever device. It's amazing what people will come up with from these movies. I know these are like, one friend would consider this stuff very childish, but out of a lot of these, and I don't blame them, trust me, I'm not blaming them at all, but out of a lot of these childish, so to speak, movies and shows, it gives people more creative ideas to make what they see come true to life. And that was true even with Star Trek back in the 60s, because there's a woman I work with, and she's a big Trekkie fan, from the early days, from the 60s Star Treks. And she would even tell me a lot of our devices, even our flip phones, were all developed and invented by people who are diehard Star Trek fans. So there's a reason for a lot of that stuff, just to, make mention of it, just let people know. So, yeah, there's always good things that come out of being, as Tom Baker said one time as Doctor Who, I'm not being childish. So what's wrong with being childish? Well, there is nothing wrong with being childish as long as you get on with the rest of your life. Because out of that childishness, obviously, there comes some pretty clever and inventive people. Now, the hammer is one story, but other things come out of that are very useful things we use nowadays. Probably even our iPads and stuff. I wouldn't doubt if that's something that developed out of some geeky thing from somebody who likes, science fiction and horror. I wouldn't doubt it. So, and that's why I have to defend it, actually, too. Anyway, this was something on iHorror. I'm going to read my next story, by the way. And this is pretty good, because I did watch the whole series and I sold it. It was a series of Friday the 13th, the TV series, though, back in the 80s. There is a book coming out now. Now, that series was in the U.S. It was on around here on, I think, Fox. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the movies. In fact, it was a Canadian show originally. But anyway, they're saying a new book digs deep into Friday the 13th, the 80s TV series. So if you're interested, the only thing I was honestly interested in that show was the one woman on the show who played Mickey. She was really hot. And always had a thing for her. That's what made me continue to watch it after I figured out it had nothing to do with the TV series. I mean, with the movies. I apologize. But it was an interesting show. It was a little bit campy, but it was definitely worth watching at least once, which I did all the way through from beginning to end, but then I just got rid of it. But now there's a book coming out, and it's basically titled Curious Goods Behind the Scenes of Friday the 13th, the series. Basically, the whole thing is Curious Goods was the place, the basic, what do you call it, the meat of that TV series, because Curious Goods was a place where these cursed artifacts were scattered throughout, towns in the U.S., I guess. and they were all cursed, and they had to be collected and then put into a safe at this place called Curious Goods. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining it, but yeah, it didn't have anything to do with the series. It's even just saying that in this article. It just says, just announced today, which was probably yesterday, actually 2 days ago, the upcoming book, Curious Goods Behind the Scenes of Friday the 13th, the TV series, will chronicle for the very first time the history of the spin-off series that ran from 1987 to 1990, spanning 3 seasons. The series, despite the title, had absolutely nothing to do with Jason Voorhees, as I said. It was a good show, though. I actually enjoyed it. It was just, I think they kind of could have simply found something else to call it, and they may have done that for a reason, calling it Friday the 13th, knowing it would draw people like myself in to watch it, which it definitely did at first, and the only thing that continued was the actress who played Mickey, because she was really hot, I thought. She was really like a good-looking woman. I'm just going to go through my stories right now. I only have a couple, but this was on BloodyDisgusting.com, and it says the 10 best Goosebumps book covers. Now, I remember watching some of the TV series of Goosebumps. I know that's a children's show, but some of those children horror shows were really good. And they could be almost kind of creepy. Now, that Goosebumps movie's coming out right now, too. Now, that does look goofy. I have no interest in seeing it. But there was Goosebumps, and there was another, like, a campfire type children's show. They were both, by the way, from Canada. And they were both actually pretty interesting. And it definitely caught my attention. I try to watch a few of them. I think they're on Netflix now, too. Anyway, since I have it up, I might as well just read the top 10 list of books of Goosebumps. And number 10 was Ghost Beach. Number 2 was Deep Trouble. I'm reading backwards. So number 10, number 9. Number 8 is Stay Out of the Basement. Number 7 was The Haunted Mask 2. Number 6 was The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. Number 5 is The Barking Ghost. Number 4 is Werewolf Skin. Number 3 is The Curse of Camp Cold Lake. And number 2 is You Can't Scare Me. And number 1, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up the numbers no matter how much I try not to, was Night of the Living Dummy. That one was pretty popular, actually. I think that one they actually did incorporate into, well, they did all these into the TV series that was made from it. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I wish they had this stuff when I was a kid. I would have definitely, as a child, I would have taken more of an interest in reading if there was stuff like this out, because the books were really meant to be easy to read, but they were horror books for children. I thought that was very clever, and I actually enjoyed it as an adult watching the TV series. Not all of it, but some of it. I think Nickelodeon picked that up. And they picked up this other show I'm drawing a blank on. Anyway, my last 2 stories aren't so pleasant. And this one I feel kind of bad for. It was on the Daily Mail. And it was marked yesterday. And it says, I feel bad for this couple because I don't think their intentions were bad. It's an unfortunate thing they lost their child. But I think it's truly a thing of ignorance, and not in a way that, they honestly were just doing what they believed in. And I'm going to read why I'm saying I'll explain myself. It says, faith-healing couple who prayed and rubbed oil on their dying baby instead of calling 911 will go to prison for killing the newborn. So this child obviously had a problem, but, it's like, it reminds me, this is different, but it reminds me of Steve Jobs when he believed in the natural remedies which ended up killing him because he didn't get the proper treatment. But that's truly, it's, now these people are going to get arrested, and I think their intentions were meant to be well. They meant well, and they truly thought what they were doing was going to save their child, but obviously it didn't, and now they're going to go to prison for it. So, I would have to put this under a plea of ignorance, that they thought what they were doing was the correct thing, and obviously it wasn't. They didn't torture, I don't think. I'll read the bullet points right now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 altogether. So first bullet point, Dale and Shannon Hickman were found guilty on manslaughter in 2011. Next one, they were members of a controversial faith healing church in Oregon. The third one is their son, David, was born 2 months premature in 2009. The next bullet point, he died hours after a home birth when couple refuses to go to a hospital. The next bullet point, their conviction was upheld last week by the state Supreme Court. And the very last bullet point, they will serve 6 years each in prison. Now, they're making this a big deal. I'm not saying the loss of that child is not important, but what I am saying, these people believed in whatever religion. It wasn't anything, I don't think, offensive. But my point is, they really thought what they were doing was going to save their child. And they're going to get persecuted for their religious belief. And I think that is wrong. So I'm just giving my opinion. I honestly did not read this article, but there's certain circumstances. It's not going to bring the child back. And obviously they thought, like I said, I'm just comparing this to Steve Jobs, because Steve Jobs was something, it was similar where he felt like, oh, I don't need medicine to heal me. I'm just going to use natural, the natural holistic way. And it didn't work for him either. So if somebody believes in something, does this mean you're now, I have to plead the fifth on these two, this couple, because I truly don't think their intentions were to kill the child. And now they're getting persecuted with second-degree murder charges and going to spend 6 years in jail apiece. So I don't know. It seems like the criminally insane walk free and the guilty walk free as the ones who, this was, I don't know how else to put it, and it's probably not the most appropriate way, but it was definitely an honest mistake. But that is not pardoned as much as true ignorance, or maybe I mean the opposite, but, people who are just deliberately ignorant. These people, I think they did it honestly, unintentionally. They didn't want to kill. They were trying to help their child. So my last story, this is a little bit lighter. This might be good. DailyMail.com. I'll just do a breeze through and make sure I didn't forget any or miss anything. This is pretty funny. Caught with his pants down, bull runner is humiliated when raging animal rips off his trousers and underwear. This is no joke. And they got pictures of it, too, in a video. This is on Daily UK, and the bullet points, there's only 3. Video shows entertainer running from a bull in an arena in Zangarzi. It's in Spain. Bullet point number 2, animal carries victim along on its horns before dumping him on the ground. And then it says, bullet point, the last one says, creature then uses its horns to rip the man's trousers and underwear off. The man is totally naked from the waist down. It is pretty funny. At least the guy didn't get hurt. But the bull definitely had, the man should just be happy the bull didn't kill him. But yes, it was definitely definitely entertaining. That was in Spain. If that closes everything out, I'll let it go for tonight. I wanted to read this because my friend's brother, Paul, he's a great guy. He's a real cool guy. Sometimes he posts things. He gets newspaper clippings from the local newspaper. This one is states from Jim Dandy. Remember the old adage, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he will eat for a lifetime. This person writes, my take on the 2015 Obama version is give a man a welfare check, free cell phone, free internet, cash for his clunker, food stamps, Section 8 housing, free contraceptives, and medicine, and he will vote Democratic the rest of his life, even after he's dead. So I thought that was really funny. So I have to almost leave with that one because that's just too good not to stop my show there. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed my show, and I will check back. He did post another one. That one was simple. Have free men's pull-ups, medium and large telephone number, and it gives 610-323-1424. So a friend put that up to friend Paul Thomas. So they are actually always give the best article stories, Paul does. Todd gets really good stories, too. I have some other entertaining things, but I'd be best if I let it go. Oh, you know what, actually? One other note. I always do find things. I was watching tonight. I'm watching the old Superman series with George Reeves, and I still love that because I rebought it. I'm actually sitting down and watching the episodes as they're supposed to be watched. And there was a woman who played Lois Lane. There was two different Lois Lanes for the TV series back then. It was in the 50s, I think. But one was this woman named Phyllis Coates, and I never really liked her that much, but she was like really hot for back in the day. She's like 88 now, I think. And I was watching those, so that was really cool. This is breaking my heart. I'm looking at a picture I had to put on my Facebook that Sarah Michelle Gellar put up on her Instagram, and she did a selfie of herself at the comic convention. That's what's really killing me because I really wanted to meet her so badly. She doesn't even know. Anyway, there was another thing I watched today, and I was actually a little bit surprised. I still hope it gets canceled, and it was Scream Queens. Do you know that show's been on for like, what? I guess only 3 weeks. They finally came up with a title for the show. Now, the title for the show was hilarious. I mean, not hilarious. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else I did want to mention. The title for the show is really cool. It's like, okay, the title for the show they finally came up with is really good, but the show sucks. But you know what? The only thing that saves that show of Scream Queens is there's this black actress. She plays a security guard on this college campus. It's shot down in Georgia. She's fucking hilarious. Like, if it wasn't for this woman, this actress, I think I would just take my set and throw it through the window because the show is that bad. But this black actress, it just comes with the stuff that comes out of her lines is just freaking hilarious. I mean, she was so funny today. I laughed literally for the first time on the show, and I have to thank her for this because she's trying to find this killer in the show, which is actually now you're finding out there's like a multiple amount of people that are all involved on these murders on this college campus. But this woman who's this security guard, she said they're trying to look for this serial killer. And she says, well, we're to go down this dark alley. And she says, I'm going to let you know right now, if I get really scared, I might fart. And I started fucking laughing. And she says, if I fart, just don't tell anybody because, I'll be embarrassed by the whole thing because she'll basically get so excited she'll fart. And I'm like laughing. I mean, it was just the way she said it, though. So this show is really bad. These actors are just horrendous. They're probably not bad actors, but just the stuff they talk about the lines there are fed or are told to give are just horrible. But this one black actress, if they kill her off, it's like this is going to be definitely the end of this show for me because they can't kill her off. I'm just telling you right now, if they do, it'd be the biggest mistake. She's so fucking funny. I mean, she's literally the only glue on this show that makes the show remotely entertaining. So I hope they know they're smart enough not to get rid of her because these are the same people involved in making Glee, American Horror Story, and now Scream Queens. I mentioned that before. So it was nice. They did the credits in the beginning actually looked really cool. I got to give them credit for that, but you wanted to go further than just having really cool opening credits for the show. And, at least you have one character who is very funny. And I just pray, if you watch the first one or two episodes, like the pilot and everything like that, and when I thought about it, it's this one actress who just really had me freaking laughing from day one, only this one actress. There was another one, too. There was this other actress. She got killed off right away, another black actress. She was funny, too. She was supposed to be a Best Buy security guard. And these two women, the first episode, they don't bother doing their job, but instead they go out and they get fast food like from one of these, burger shacks, and they're gorging down on these hamburgers and not doing their job, and they get so fucking stuffed that they fall asleep during their job. So the one abandons her job just to be with the other one. It was just funny, though. The characters, yes, they are kind of stereotyped, but, the whole show is supposed to be, the characters are all supposed to be stereotyped to begin with. And that actress is the only thing that I actually love about that show right now, and the credits. But I just had to mention it. I totally forgot. And I did want to mention that tonight. So anyway, folks, it is getting a little bit late. I do want to get up at a decent time. I can't believe that it's already Thursday. I cannot believe that. So everyone, I kind of went a little longer, which might be fine. I hope you enjoyed my show. If you do listen to me once again, I appreciate that. And please continue to try to listen to me when I do new podcasts. I know they don't go up correctly. And I kind of regret because I actually was using Spreaker and SoundCloud. Now, most of the people like Kevin Smith, he actually uses SoundCloud. And I was going to stick with SoundCloud, but I found there was more resources for what I want to do on Spreaker, but it's not as used by most people out there as much as SoundCloud is. So, unfortunately, and it wasn't that expensive. I just really didn't want to have to pay two bills. And, even a small amount was too much for me. So I just kind of stuck with the one. Anyhow, folks, have a good morning on this Thursday, October 15th. It is going fast once again this month. And, again, I hope you enjoy what I try to do. And thanks a lot if you do listen. Have a good morning, folks. I am signing off.